Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show. My guest today is Tracy Weiss, a cancer survivor, a nonprofit badass, and the former production guru at the Maury Povich Show. Yes, a feature, not a bug. She's living proof that you can turn a pile of medical billing codes into a mission that actually helps people. As someone who convinced complete strangers to share their darkest secrets on daytime television, and I think maybe dodging a few chairs on Jerry Springer at the same time, asking oncologists to tell women that chemo might fry their ovaries? Probably a breeze by comparison. We're going to talk about Chick Mission, why it had to exist in the first place, and how fertility preservation in cancer turned into a bureaucratic Hunger Games, and I can attest to that. And why nothing says fuck you to cancer more than a giant Times Square billboard covered in hopeful ovaries. So grab a drink, mute your Alexa, and buckle up, because you're about to get a master class in how to just be pissed off enough to get shit done the right way. I'm Matthew Zachary. This is Out of Patience. Let's get started. Oh God, another Jewish show.
God, the Jews.
This is like my 9th Jewish show in a row.
Well, it sounds like Christmas is coming, and so are your non-Jewish guests.
Well, this will be airing around Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, so
That's honestly, it's the best time.
It is.
It's the best time.
It's the most Jewish time of the year.
It is mostly because there's chopped liver for every meal.
Do you really eat chopped liver?
I make my own chopped liver.
Oh my God, reminds me of my grandma.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, my grandmother didn't make it.
How did you adopt the idea of eating chopped liver without a grandma that ate chopped liver?
So I feel like there was that whole farm to table moment and in like the early aughts in New York. So if they're making, chicken liver, then I'm going to make chopped liver. And honestly, there's so little traditional about my life / Judaism in my life that the food and the festivities is where I kind of put the effort in.
So are you Jewish or Jewish?
I'm Jewish in the way you could talk about skim milk versus whole, or
like Diet Coke.
Diet Coke to Coke, yeah.
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 Because we had the chicken liver conversation, chopped liver conversation. What is the difference, by the way?
One, I think, is blended. Chopped is exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
And the other one's processed to be a little more of a smoother moment. I tried to cook all kinds of traditional Jewish things because I am not very religious, but I love to throw a party. So
what I love most about your backstory was you come from broadcasting.
I do.
And talent.
Behind the camera, and now here we are.
Well, I can't not mention Maury Povich. That's like blazoned upon your LinkedIn profile. I have to know.
I know.
What was that like?
I only worked for Jews in television. I worked for Maury Povich. I worked for Jerry Springer. There was
You ever have to like dodge a chair on Jerry Springer?
Right. No, I wore a helmet, so it was fine.
Okay.
The Springer story was great because I wanted to work in TV and I didn't know how. So I just kept bothering the woman who answered the phone because I was pre-law. I was a political theory and journalism double major at Michigan State, and I wanted to go into entertainment law. So at the time, Jerry Springer was embroiled in all of the First Amendment lawsuits and people being upset about his show being disgusting. So I thought that was a perfect place for me to learn. That guy was out of town, his head lawyer, when I got there. So they threw me in the production pit. And when the GC came back, production said, "You cannot have Tracy Weiss. We are keeping her."
Wow.
It was a huge compliment. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That for those listening who don't know Maury Povich or Jerry Springer, we encourage you to go to this thing called the interweb.
Oh, the interwebs. Yeah. Maury Povich was my first job in New York City. Actually shot right here in the now defunct Hotel Pennsylvania.
Yes, across from Penn.
Yep. And it was a very wild place to work. It was 7 days a week. The pay was low and the stress was high. But it's how you kind of figure out if you're going to get made here or broken, made or broken.
One or the other.
I was trying to like make it rhyme, but it didn't work. They can't all be winners, Matthew.
They can't all be winners, for sure. So what did you learn from the experience besides, like, did you want to do this? You're like, I don't want to do this.
I was actually never better at any job than I was as a production assistant and associate producer at the Maury Povich television show. It is speaking to strangers and convincing them to share their most personal details on live television. It's logistics, it's storytelling. I also was in charge of shooting all of the reenactments.
No.
And I shot them mostly in my apartment because I was so stressed and lazy that I didn't want to go on location. I had a separate set of sheets. If there was a scene in a bedroom, I had a separate set of dishes. My parents would call me and say, "I really didn't like that gentleman roofied that woman with your grandmother's china." So I had to come up with all new props. But what I learned is if you are authentic and you care about the person you're speaking to, you can really bring out their story. At Maury Povich, I was using it for my own gains, aka evil, but later it allowed me to work in, our field, speaking to survivors and getting them to a point where they're comfortable sharing their story.
Wow.
I know. So if you heard it here first, I'm good at my job because of Maury Povich.
Didn't he marry Connie Chung?
They're still married.
No way.
And they have a podcast. She had a book come out. Maury I only worked for him for a couple of years, but I've kept in touch lately, and he's a good guy.
Well, his show had no flying chairs.
No, that was Jerry. And the thing about Jerry was he said, "My show is chewing gum. If you don't like it, spit it out." And I'm laughing all the way to the bank.
Well, he owned it.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Was he like the mayor of Chicago or something?
He was the mayor, I want to say, of Cincinnati versus Cleveland, and I hope that I'm right. But he left office in a little bit of embroiled in a drama.
I want to see Pete Buttigieg host the modern day Jerry Springer show.
I would watch that.
I would watch that too.
I would totally watch that.
Has to be live though.
Well, it can't.
Remember live?
I love live. It can't be live because, especially on broadcast, people say naughty things they can't say in the real world. Yeah.
Did that 7-second bleep? Remember right before the 7-second bleep?
Well, and then there's the whole George Carlin list.
Yes.
Which I used to, for sport, try and work into any kind of presentation I gave in high school.
We can say some of those words now. You can say shit, piss.
Yeah, but you couldn't. You probably could say motherfucker.
I don't know if they can get away with that.
I think you could. You can say bitch. I mean,
yeah.
You can say...
No, that wasn't one of the words.
Well, no, because it's just a female dog.
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. You could say tits.
You can say tits.
Yeah.
Definitely on HBO, but I don't know if you can say tits on NBC.
I want to see Mariska Hargitay say that word during a teen rape scene.
First of all, that is deeply, deeply disturbed, and I'm here for it.
Yes. I mean, SV has been around for so long, they could do what they want.
It's true. I just watched her documentary about her mom last night, actually.
Yes. Most people don't know her mom was...
Jane Mansfield.
I mean, of all actors and actresses in history.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a whole era of Hollywood where you could keep secrets and the press would just leave you alone. I kind of wish we went back to that.
Are you a Hollywood nerd, a pop culture Hollywood nerd?
I was. I am retired now. I really kind of use my brain power for where are my keys and have you seen my phone? But there was a time that all I wanted to do was work in Hollywood. I wanted to write. I wanted to work in development. And I had the opportunity to do so. And I chose life over career. And I would do it again and again.
And what was life like?
Life was living in New York City. I moved to Manhattan at 23. I did not have a job. I knew one person. And that was so I didn't have to move to Los Angeles and work for a talent agency. I grew up in a place where all I did was drive around and drink coffee and toilet paper people's houses for sport. Sorry, Andy Black, if you're listening.
Andy Black, thanks for subscribing to the show.
And I never understood why I didn't like growing up in Metro Detroit. It was cool. There was interesting things.
That was back when Detroit was Detroit, right?
When Detroit was scary, when we were not allowed to drive downtown, and we would absolutely, before cell phones, go see Green Day at Cobo Arena or Ben Folds at an old church. It was a great time because there weren't camera phones.
Right.
And you could kind of just wander around, kind of free-range teenager. I always said we were responsibly wild. You would drink at a party, but you would take your shoes off and clean the glass when you were done.
That sounds very Michigan.
Right.
Okay.
But there was something that wasn't right. And I realized that what was right for me was New York City. I had only been here once when I moved here.
Where'd you live?
Of course, Murray Hill. Where else?
Why not? For those listening, Murray Hill is kind of on the Middle East side somewhere, like by Turtle Bay. It's between like the 40s, 50s ish.
It's south of Kips, north of, I would say, Gramercy. It is pretty much from 36 to 28.
Okay.
Between First and Park. My roommate went to University of Michigan, and
was that just a total fluke?
No, his name was Aaron Weiss. He was my friend from high school.
Oh, so you moved in with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And people weren't.
Like, you randomly find a roommate that went to the same college.
No, and I went to Michigan State, so
right.
Go green.
I don't know.
No, you say go white.
I just know blue is
green.
Michigan, right?
It's Michigan, but Michigan State.
Okay, got it.
But Aaron Weiss, people weren't sure if he was my boyfriend, my brother, my husband, because we had the same last name, and the doormen were very, very confused.
Yes.
As we were young and dating in New York City.
Okay, fair enough.
But he, being from Michigan and going to Michigan, everyone he knew had a direct pipeline from Markley, a dorm full of Long Islanders, to Murray Hill. So he said, this is where we're living. And I said, okay. And the only kind of veto I had is we looked at one building. I came in the revolving doors, and my high school boyfriend's best friends came out.
What?
And I said, not living here. Not living here.
You picked the neighborhood.
He picked the neighborhood.
Okay.
I just said nah to that building.
So what did you wind up doing?
I moved here. I did a little bit of freelance writing. I started working at the Maury Povich television show.
Okay.
And just kind of started to immerse myself in the New York of it all. I would say I'm particularly loud and obnoxious and kind of brash for suburban life. And here I was painfully average.
So I got to ask, did political theory play any role in your career?
Not until now.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to that part too.
Absolutely.
Because the fuckery is yet to start.
Yeah, at this point, I'm 23, healthy, kicking ass and taking names.
As one should be. Hopefully taking good risks.
As my grandmother would say, from your mouth to God's ears.
Oh, you can do the voice too.
She's from Philadelphia, so
okay.
You got to give her a little extra.
It's not God, it's God.
God.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well done.
I try.
So what happened between then and when shit did hit the fan?
I lived that.
Or is it all a blur?
I know. It seems so long ago, which is confusing because I'm so very young. You went from being a 20-something in the city, drinking too much at brunch, going to museums, trying to figure out.
Carrie Bradshawing yourself without the douchebaggery?
That's offensive. I was much cooler than Carrie Bradshaw.
I said without the douchebaggery.
Or the shoes.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I made a great group of friends. I kind of settled into television. I decided I didn't want the schedule of a talk show producer at the time because I was casting and then shooting all of the little vignettes that were the reenactments.
Right, with your grandma's china.
Yep. I then went into talent management at the now defunct Abrams Artist Agency. Would meet talent, would find places for them, originally in commercials, and then moved over to what they used to call the alternative programming and hosting department. But
that sounds mysterious.
It's really cable. It's playing yourself on TV. I was Chip Gaines' first agent. It's finding people who are photogenic, who can communicate, who can do their skill, their professional life on camera. So that is what I was doing. Married a very nice man who I'm no longer married to, but that took up a lot of my time.
At least he was nice.
Yeah, he was nice.
Okay.
And then just kind of immersed myself in being a shark, trying to make some cash, trying to make work fun. And despite being a very type A oldest who checks all the boxes and gets the physicals and does all the things, I was diagnosed with a form of cervical cancer at 30. It was a surprise to me too.
Yeah, because that's something you expect to have happen.
No. I mean, no one expects cancer. No one expects the Inquisition. But I think that...
I mean, George Burns probably expected cancer.
Well, sure, but...
Smoking 8 cigars a day for 80 years.
I know. I kind of wish I ate more McDonald's and huffed carcinogens. So at least I would have done something to give myself this disease.
Right.
I think that especially in 2009, cancer was for old people. It's for your grandmother. It's the thing that killed somebody who your mom knew, and it was really sad. Your dog got cancer. Yeah, and it was for old people, and it was ugly, and it was gross, and being young and invincible wouldn't happen to me.
Right.
Surprise.
Symptoms?
Symptoms. A lot of bleeding.
Okay.
If you are a girl in your 20s and 30s, we sit at brunch, we talk about all kinds of things that men do not want to know that we talk about. Mm-hmm. And one of that was random bleeding between cycles. I went to the doctor. She said I was fine.
As they do.
Every time I got a pap, everything's clear. And then as time went on, the bleeding intensified. I also was diagnosed with mono because I had a super high white blood count.
Okay.
Let's be honest, I didn't have mono.
Clearly.
I had cancer.
Well, I got Robitussin for brain cancer. So
yeah, I mean,
on the same page.
That didn't work?
No.
I mean,
I had
false
high
advertising.
Hopes.
I was hoping the Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich could cure cancer. It didn't, but it cures hangovers. But long story
That's a life hack.
Long story longer, I just kept going back to the same doctor, and she finally said to me, "You are being a drama queen. Don't be hysterical. There's nothing to see and you're fine." 6 months later, I had a bleeding episode where I couldn't leave the bathroom at my one stall, mostly male workplace. And the men are pounding on the door. "What are you doing in there?" And first of all, it's embarrassing enough to be in a bathroom and people know you're in there.
Right.
And I just kept yelling, "I'm having the prom baby. Leave me alone."
Oh, God.
I didn't know what to say. And of course, my BlackBerry Pearl was sitting in my lap, and I texted my friend and I was like, "I don't know what to do." And she said, "You're going to see my doctor at 2:00. Enough of this bullshit."
So is this just a young adult invincibility thing where you didn't want to fire your doctor? You just accepted this as it was?
No, it was experts are experts.
Oh.
You want to know what bottle of wine to drink on a list? I can tell you that. But if you're a doctor and you have information about bodies and diseases and symptoms and you say I'm cool, then I'm going to believe you. And I knew she was wrong, but I didn't know what to do about it, especially when you work insane hours and you have crappy insurance. You don't have time to go to the OBGYN once a year.
You're an employer-based insurance, right?
Sure.
Or you won there was no exchange back then.
No, I was an employer insurance, but it's hard enough to find someone in network. It's hard enough to find time to go. Mm-hmm. And the doctor says you're okay. And I had my physical. Great. I had a pap. Great. The doctor says this is normal. So I guess this is as close to normal as I'll ever be.
All right. So outside of the Wendy's sandwich not working,
yep.
What did you take any medicines? I mean, was there anything else they told you to try to do or just kind of deal with it?
No, they said, "You're a lady. This is what happens. Bleeding between cycles is normal. You don't have any other evidence of any sort of issues. So play on, player."
And PAP was fine, you said?
PAP was fine every year for 15 years. Can you believe that? I know. I got hit with a lucky
because
stick.
I lived it.
Turns out I had a very slow-growing tumor that started in the walls of my uterus and was not found until it was completely grown through my cervix. That second doctor, Danielle Feldman,
your friend's
OBGYN, yeah, she was about my age. And she said, "It looks like there's a polyp or something. I'm going to do a quick biopsy." I'm on my phone, of course, trying to order cupcakes for a surprise party that I'm throwing that night. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I was more worried it was some sort of sexually transmitted disease and my then partner was cheating than anything else.
Well, that makes sense, though.
Of course, it's not cancer.
Right. How could it be cancer?
And there's no cancer in my family.
Right.
So there's no way that bleeding arbitrarily means that my entire life is about to change.
Yeah, famous last words, right?
Right? Surprise! I'll never forget the doctor calls me and says, I'd like you to come in and we need to speak about your test results.
How long after your test was this?
The test was Friday and this was a Monday morning.
Okay.
And I just thought, could she tell me if I'm pregnant over the phone?
Right.
Could she tell me if I have some sort of horrible STI, as they call them now?
Right.
Like, what do I need
There was text messages back then.
Yeah, like, what do I need to go in there for?
Right.
And I honestly didn't even get to cancer. I legit thought that there was some kind of shenanigans going on in my marriage, potentially, and like she had to break some hard news to me.
Okay.
I did not even get to cancer. So I got there and she was like, just so you know, this came back and it's cancer.
Well, at least you were told by a human. I was diagnosed over an answering machine.
I mean, honestly, I almost wish I didn't have an audience. But I knew something bad was going to happen. I got very dressed up. Mad Men was all the rage at the time. I had my best Joan outfit on because, shit can't happen when you look that good.
Yeah.
I knew something was coming. I went by myself. My now ex-husband didn't come with me. I didn't tell my friend. I just needed to go and find out and synthesize what it was and then react from there.
Well, on that cliffhanger, let's see if she's still here when we get back. I wanted you on the show for many reasons, but of all the top Mount Rushmore angry things I had to deal with when I started the young adult cancer movement was answering the following question from older people. Well, why is young adult cancer so special? And the response was always, well, our organs work below the belt. Oh, right. The concept of young adult cancer were not three words that went in succession until probably Live Strong or when Stupid Cancer launched and that became parlance. And then why we're not better or worse, we're different because we're not 6 and we're not 80. And the easiest thing for people to understand was we are in our fertile years.
Yep.
Nothing else. We're employed. We don't have Medicare. We're not dealing with, grandkids. Those didn't really work in the narrative. But the simplest thing was, we'd like to be parents one day, maybe, and this will rob us of that. Oh, that's what you mean, Sonny.
Well, and because we're young and healthy and in our fertile years, the rates of survival are better. And I think that for a long time, physicians felt like the goal is to cure you of your disease, and yay, you didn't die. So, yay, I'm super glad that that was kind of the first step, making sure that, young adults with cancer, didn't kick it. But the next part of that is, what about the quality of your life on the other side? You have to care about that because it gives you something to look forward to. And I think that a lot of older people were just needed to say, you're so lucky you didn't die.
I don't fault people for that. I mean, I'm sure you got, oh, you poor thing, 1 billion times, but you look great 1 billion times.
Well, I love the cancer face. I wish that everyone could see it at home.
Yeah, she's doing the cancer face on the radio, but I'm going to agree that is the cancer face.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Again, I like to give context because I'm the oldest survivor of what I had, as far as I know, 30 years coming up. And
are you going to have a birthday party for your...
We're going to throw me a 30th birthday party.
I can't wait.
All right. January 2026. MZ30. It's a big day. So back in those days, back in my day, get over it, walk it off was survivorship.
For sure.
Wasn't a word.
You didn't talk about it. I remember trying to talk to people about sexual side effects. I remember trying to talk to people about the fact that my hips didn't seem to work because there's scar tissue, and no one wanted to talk about PT, pelvic floor therapy.
Yep.
And listen, I had a wonderful experience. I got patted on the head and they said, go on and have a nice life. And I didn't even know the questions to ask about survivorship. It was, you lived, go live.
And I will say, 2009, you said?
Yeah, 2009, 2010.
That was just as we were trying to prove that we deserve to be taken seriously as a generation. It really wasn't until probably, dare I even suggest, that ASCO started to care about AYAs with their focus under 40 that we built with them in 2012. But we're going to get to today's narrative, which is better but different, and maybe better problems to have, I suppose. But have you heard of the Oncofertility Consortium?
Of course, I went to Michigan State, where
Yes.
where Teresa works now.
Yeah, so I met Teresa when I know you know them, Joyce Reinecke and Lindsay Norbeck, who were the reason my wife and I knew what to do when we decided to have kids, because I had no sperm and she had one egg from an oophorectomy for a dermoid cyst in college, totally separate.
And I was a Fertile Hope recipient.
There you go. Everything goes back in those days, right? God bless, huge shout out to Lindsay and Joyce for being the involuntary advocate pioneers of the We Deserve to Be Parents One Day option.
Congratulations, you're the OGs. And now it's your problem to solve. And dare I say, they've been working pretty damn hard at it.
Yeah, and they are literally the OGs of the narrative. I don't think I knew you were a Fertile Hope recipient, so that's touching to me.
Surprise.
The reveal here on this, I almost said the Stupid Cancer Show. I feel like this could have been a conversation when I started 20 years ago.
Well, also 2012, I think, to your point, was a really big year. It's when eggs were able to be frozen kind of on their own with parity to embryos. It's when, like you said, the ASCO folks started having the conversation about standard of care. It was the foundation of everything that's happened since.
Do you know which group was the most disturbing holdout at the time? The Oncology Nursing Society.
Because it added something to their to-do list?
Yeah. It didn't become a guide. It was a guideline. I was part of. So Dr. Brad Zebrak, another Livestrong AYA, a miracle genius doctor guy, wrote the young adult cancer guidelines for the National Comprehensive Cancer Network, and Stupid Cancer was very involved in making sure that the circus tent that we were was part of that process. But I'm like, but they're just fucking guidelines. How do you mandate guidelines?
Well, listen, I don't know how in the trenches you are, but it's hard to mandate mandates right now.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, you can only do so much to mandate the mandate. My God. Yeah, so here we are. Chick Mission. I love the name.
I have nothing to do with it, and I'm thrilled to say that nothing makes me happier that when Amanda Rice came up with the Chick Mission, that the URL was available.
Go figure, right? Still, I just find that I come from marketing, advertising. You probably know I spent 10 years at Omnicom before. So I'm a big fan of like kitschy, sort of like happily distracting brands that
like
are
Stupid Cancer.
Like Stupid Cancer. They're few and far between for people to think of a name that isn't the blah, blah, blah cancer research organization.
And that doesn't make you sad. My favorite thing about our organization is nothing about it is Sarah McLachlan with the sad dead puppies.
That was the whole point of Stupid Cancer, too. Like, we're done with the wristbands. We're done with the pink shit. No more pink M&Ms. No more what was me and you poor thing. And even today's narrative is, can we stop showing, happy cancer patients on websites?
I mean, don't even get me started. I have a whole business plan on how to change that. So if anyone's looking for a cancer consultant, you can find me.
So when did you realize that you probably could have been more pissed than you knew you needed to be at the time by not being made aware of these things?
I mean, realizing I should be more pissed about things that have happened in my life is pretty much the headline of Tracy Weiss, ... because I'm a problem solver. So I had cancer. The cancer's gone. We put it on a credit card. Move the fuck on. Mm-hmm. I couldn't move the fuck on. And I didn't quite know why. I tried new things. I quit my job. I did not want to be in a world where people were crying because they couldn't wear Hervé Leger on HGTV that didn't feel like a priority for my new POV. And I started to write a book about my cancer experience. And it exists in a drawer somewhere. It's basically the chick lit of reproductive cancer years. Maybe one day I'll get back to it. But I didn't realize that this problem wasn't getting better through education and awareness. And it just so happened that someone I knew introduced me to Amanda in fall of 2017 when she was finishing up her radiation and conceptualizing the Chick Mission. I absolutely thought that she wanted a check for her new nonprofit, having never met her before. And her willingness to put everyone's money where her mouth is or was just gave me permission to be pissed. And when I am angry, I get productive AF. So we figured out that her idea and her strategy and her ability to fundraise and her network worked perfectly with my irreverent tone and love of words and basically not being afraid to hear no. And she assembled a kick-ass executive board, myself included, and it became my life.
Can I tell you something? The brand promise of Stupid Cancer and how many nonprofit brands have a brand promise was permission to be pissed.
And ours is we want to put ourselves out of business.
Mm-hmm. As every nonprofit should want to do.
Should, but when you have high paid executives and no transparency
and lots of real estate
and a black hole of where the money goes. Not to name any names.
All right, I love to ask this question because it tends to split people into 3 or 4 different classes.
Well, I have 3 or 4 different personalities, so we're cool.
All right, I'll ask the first personality. Are you a fan of military terms in cancer? Fighting, war, winning, battle?
No, I think it's particularly male, and it's very cut and dry. I think that if that language is helpful for a patient to become a survivor, you can use it whatever the hell you want. But I think that someone losing their battle, you don't lose your battle because you die. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Clearly you didn't fight hard enough, damn it.
Clearly. And I remember a nurse saying to me, like, darling, it's time to go to war. And I was like, against who? Mm-hmm. Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't like that. But I'm sure the next part of the question is I also don't like the hippy-dippy terms either.
Well, then there's like Thriver. I've heard Sir Thriver. Like, I think that came and went a long time ago. Then there's, of course, like Warrior and Badass. And
well, Badass, I am deeply, deeply, deeply into.
You can own that one.
That was the first product we ever put out there were the little word projects, Badass bracelets, because we're badass chicks. And I think that there hasn't been the right kind of language invented yet that's a catch-all for all sorts of patients. And I think everyone should immerse themselves in the narrative of their quote-unquote journey that they need.
I would contend that there are various different phases of angry Sisyphus. And
sorry, I'm imagining The Rock as like an MRI machine.
It really is. I mean, just getting young adult cancer to be a narrative was one thing. Getting ACA to cover up to 26 and pre-existing was another thing. These days, I find, I'm known and people come to me all the time. I feel like anecdotally, and I want you to course correct this, half the people I talk to were told about fertility preservation and half were not. Is that better, worse, accurate, or completely misleading?
Well, according to the American Cancer Society, 50% of oncologists have the conversation with their patients. So I guess it's factual.
Oh, my God.
I mean, huzzah.
I speak the truth.
But it's also about where you are.
Right.
It's geographical. It's different disparities in color. It's socioeconomic. And I think that there is a trend in oncologists that they're making this more known that you need to consider fertility preservation. You need to know that the treatment that will save your life, the side effect will be infertility. Most doctors, in my experience personally, either assumed there wasn't time assumed we couldn't afford it or just wanted to keep things moving. I also think a lot of old school oncologists necessarily don't know that you can jumpstart a fertility cycle and wrap that up in 10 days and then start treatment. So I think it really depends on when you were diagnosed and where.
So I'm going to tell you a story that'll make your blood boil.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I have a friend, Susan, I'll keep her anonymous for now, had a child, then got cancer, and worked in oncology, happened to get sick while on the job and became a customer of her own shit. And she specifically told the oncologist, let's talk about fertility preservation.
And they said, why, you already have a child.
Bingo. Must be the same Susan.
No.
Is that just like toxic masculine apathy?
It is, but it's also you're making decisions for someone else by saying, oh, well, you'll be okay because you already did the thing. Mm-hmm. And you have no control over anything when you have cancer. You don't decide your treatment plan. You certainly didn't pick it. And if you had a vision for your life that you wanted 3 kids, there's no reason that you can't still hope for it. Hey, even without oncofertility issues, there are plenty of women who aren't able to achieve their family dreams, but we deserve the chance to try. And why does anyone get to decide that, well, you're one and done, so at least you have XYZ?
Right.
I find that so just disrespectful and not really caring about the whole patient.
So I want to talk a little bit about some of the successes, some of the small wins, and they're regrettably not enough good wins, but there's
some huge wins.
Well, let's enlighten me. Give me. I don't swim in that part of the resort anymore, but give me some hope.
Well, perfect, because our patient grant program is called the Hope Grant Program. We're not just peddling dollars and cents or options. We're peddling hope. It's somebody believes that you on the other side of this disease will get to have a chance to try for families. Since we gave our first grant on Valentine's Day 2018, to date, we've helped almost 700 women freeze their eggs. That's about $4.5 million pledged from the Chick Mission to patients. We cover the entire cycle, not including meds, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mm-hmm. There are organizations out there for meds. And there are 8 babies and 2 on the way.
That's amazing.
Born to the Chick Mission since 2018.
I want to put a link in the episode notes to your impact report. And by the way, congratulations on having an impact report. It's nice to know where money goes, but it's nice to know what actually happens when you do things right.
Well, that's kind of the fun fact about our origin story. We're not nonprofit people. Our executive board, they all work in finance. They work in PE, they work in hedge funds, and they understand that we have a fiduciary duty to our donors. So Amanda's transparency ethos mixed with our director of development, Izzy Wayner's understanding for synthesizing that information, we want people to know where the money goes. We couldn't be prouder that I was the only employee for a hot minute in time. We don't have an office because those dollars and cents are better spent for patients and programs.
Given the fact that apparently, according to the American Cancer Society, 50% of people still aren't disclosed, what do those gaps look like over the next 5 years to solve at a time where, and this is going to be airing in the fall, I would imagine our rights, women's rights, healthcare rights are still going to be under attack in some form or fashion. Is it really all legislative at this point?
No, it's macro, micro, and realistic. I would say that specifically after the Roe decision came down, there was a lot of hand-wringing in the reproductive space. And the Chick Mission decided to stay in our lane and focus on what we could focus on, which is education. If your oncologist is not going to tell you your options about fertility preservation, then we're going to do it for ourselves. We're going to go into sororities on college campuses. We're going to go into corporate women's events. We're going to start a high school program that women of every age, and men, hopefully, will not only know how their bodies work, Fertility 101, and then will understand the unique challenges that come with fertility with a cancer diagnosis. It's turning it into a conversation. Education is buzz, and That's how people know to ask the questions, because someone knows someone who knew someone. Legislation is the solve, but I believe that education is the spark.
So how do you solve for what I always call the oh shit window intervention, which is like you're walking into a store you never expected to shop inside of, and you're at the mercy of either Google or your doctor to tell you things you never thought you needed to know. Is fertility actually a priority these days as much as we'd like it to be, or is it still we'd just like to make sure you live?
I think that the trend is trending. No, it's getting better. The fertility conversations, not just because of onco-fertility conversations, because of regular fertility conversations. You couldn't talk about a miscarriage, but 1 in 4 women, 1 in 4 pregnancies end that way. Because we've taken private life and made it very public in every facet, so comes your ovaries. So I think that there's more conversation about it. I think there's more understanding of care, and now we're trying to create more access.
So I want to wrap with, and you're going to come back because this is one of the most near and dear issues to me personally. I would not even know what it would, a path to parenthood if I didn't know Lindsay and Joyce to put us in touch with the right doctors who were trained on long-term survivorship and having no sperm and whatever. Just quick note, I did freeze my sperm and my mom drove me to the sperm bank because that was a protocol for NYU only in the 1990s.
Did you freeze at NYU?
I froze at, I'm going to forget the name of the place. It was like across the street.
Oh, mine was NYU. That's right.
But I paid like $3,200 a year for them. And it turns out we didn't have to use them because it was cheaper to do the turkey baster and find like one guy without 7 heads.
I will tell you that my big win this entire process over the last however many years, my eggs were frozen at NYU. And after there was legislation passed in New York State, my insurance covered the yearly.
Oh, God.
And now I'm on Marketplace, so it doesn't, but whatever.
No, but that's great. That's great. Chick Mission. A brand? Do people get what you do on day one? How do people find out?
Well, the Chick Mission as a name usually draws people in.
Right.
Because, of course, it's tongue-in-cheek, eggs, chicken, the whole thing. But I think that as soon as they kind of see not what we do, but how we do, they understand. They know that they know someone who has been diagnosed with cancer. They know someone who struggles with fertility. They know that insurance companies like to opt out of paying for direct care. So I think that they don't know that these things are a problem, but as soon as they hear Chick Mission and they understand the what, the why comes immediately.
Of course. So in the spirit of you shouldn't have to exist, give me one incredible legislative win that we could point to that people can really say, I can do this too.
Just one?
Well, there are several, but what's like there's only 4 people on Mount Rushmore. Pick one so people can be really inspired. This can be achieved.
I would say that the folks who, especially Joyce, who have come into legislation and really kind of made it what it is and allowed patient advocates to get more involved, building on that foundation is storytelling. And because Chick Mission helps women directly in real time, you find out within 72 hours if you have financial support. There's a way for women to use their voice to change it for women who come after them. And I think that adding personal narrative has made all the difference. As part of coalitions, this past fertility preservation mandates passed in Texas.
Yep.
Working with a group of women who lost their friend who was a physician. Her name was Corinne in Oklahoma. They did not know anything about politics. They knew their friend would want them to do this. And with the help of the Chick Mission, they did. Fertility mandates for iatrogenic passed in Oklahoma. And in Georgia, this cycle, not just for cancer patients, for sickle cell patients, for lupus patients, being able to have access in some of these states will be a very slow burn to actually make the thing work.
Right.
But how many cycles did everyone try in Texas. And I think that what Chick Mission does well is creates a safe space and a way to share your story that is unique, authentic, doesn't feel canned, and gets people's attention.
Bravo. I always end every show by talking to my ChatGPT, and I feed it information about you.
Oh, God.
And I ask it one question, and this is hit or miss, but my question that I ask of all my guests of chat is, if your life were a Netflix series, what 3 Gen X pop culture soulmates would you be combined?
So not who plays me, but
No,
like...
you don't have to answer the question.
No. I'm asking, ChatGPT is going to tell you there are 3 iconic human beings that they're
your ethos as this character.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
Who are yours?
I don't know.
Okay, fine.
You are Karen Walker from Will and Grace. Bold, unapologetic, witty, unafraid to mock the ridiculous sides of life, especially healthcare bullshit.
And she likes martinis.
Yes. You are Miranda July, indie filmmaker, quirky, deep, female-driven, balanced humor, and earnest emotional stakes. And you are Monica Ali, the author of Brick Lane. You know the book?
I don't.
Okay, you're going to get to keep this. Fearless in exploring identity, culture, and complex women's journeys with compassion, grit, and no fucks to give.
They forgot to talk about how pretty I am.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
So there you go. You can keep this.
This is like my Gen X horoscope.
It is.
This is amazing. I'm
really
gonna do this every day and see if it changes. I'll let you know.
I would like throw in a little Murphy Brown, a little Diane from Cheers.
I really appreciate that you think that I am sophisticated and serious. Like those women, I would throw in like Ren from Ren and Stimpy. I would maybe be...
a little Lisa Simpson.
little Lisa Simpson. I'm...
Trinity from Matrix.
No, I'm like... I feel more like Ed McMahon than Johnny Carson.
All right, fine. Tracy Weiss is the executive director at the Chick Mission. Oh my God, I just want to say production guru at Maury Povich because we have to say that.
Is that what it says on my LinkedIn?
Yeah. not just a production associate, a production guru at Maury Povich.
I love past me could really turn a phrase.
I'm all for past you, but I like present you as well.
Thank you for having me. And also thank you for being one of the OGs. I can't even imagine what you've seen in the last 30 years. I'm 15 years out and I feel like my story is almost obsolete because we live in a different world. And I love when I meet someone else who takes their shit sandwich and turns it into shit lemonade.
All right, I'll tell all the stories on our next episode of Drunk Advocacy with Matt and Tracy. We'll see you next time on the show, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Out of Patience with Matthew Zachary is a production of Matthew Zachary Worldwide. The executive producer is Matthew Zachary. It is mixed and edited by Kyle Moore. If you like the show, ratings and reviews are always welcome wherever you get your podcasts. If you have guest suggestions or would like to learn more about sponsorship opportunities, email podcast@matthewzachary.com. For more information about Matthew Zachary and Matthew Zachary Worldwide, visit matthewzachary.com.